26%. On the nation report part that the percentage below part 12 grade were subtraction in math. In America, we had everything as an exceptionally country. But the 26% sound exceptionally to you? Raise your hand if you think as country we need to do way better than I am. I'm with you. We all need math. For why are so many kids confused by us? It is because only 26% of people are hardwired from that love 70% are not. After working with thousands of kids, I can tell you this is the case at all. Kids don't understand math because we have been teaching it as the humanities subject. But if we make math human again, it will start make sense again. You're probably wondering how is math in every human in the first place, so think about it. Math is a human language just like English, Spanish, and Chinese because it allows people to communicate with each other. In ancient time, people need the language of math to concentrate, to build a monument, and to measure the land for farming. This idea of math, the language, is extremely new. A greater philosopher once said, the laws of nature are written in the language of mathematics. So you see, even Galileo agreed, isn't it? But somewhere along the line, we're taking the language of math with about the real world around us, and the abstract, the beyond of recognition, and that's why kids get confused. Let me show you what it means. We'll see this third grade California math standard, and people make sense when 8 years old. Understand the fraction 1 over b as the sequentially formed by 1 apart when whole is partially to be equal parts. Understand a fraction a over b as the sequentially formed by a parts of side 1 over b. And if you give this description to an 8 years, you probably get reaction like this. To a math expert, this standard makes sense. But to a kid, it's an absolute tattoo. I tell this example specifically because the fractions are the foundational to algebra, trigonometry, and even calculus. So kids don't understand fraction in the elementary middle school because it help right away to ahead them in the high school. But there's a way to make subtraction simple and easy for kids to understand. Yes, just remember that math in the language and use that the first damage. For example, when I teach first grader how to add the subtraction, I start with the apple plus lesson. First say yes, 1 apple plus 1 apple, and people often say do it the perfectly correct. Half them include the word as well as with the math language, but not just 2 is 2 apple. Next is 3 pencil plus 2 pencil. You all know that pencil plus pencil is pencil. So everyone, how many pencil? 5 pencil is right, and the key is include the word. I tried to submit with my 5 years old niece in math. After she added pencil and pencil, I asked her what were 4 billion plus 1 billion, and my own overhead in the distance. She scolded and said, "Are you crazy? She's been kindergarten. How does she supposed to know 4 billion plus 1 billion? I'm done. If my niece financial accounting looks up and says 5 billion, and I say this right is 5 billion. My aunt stood ahead on that because she did expect them from the 5 years. But all you have to do is take a language approach, and math become intuitive and easy to understand. Then I asked her a question the kindergartner definitely not supposed to know. 1/3 plus 1/3, and she immediately answered 2/3. As you are wondering, how can she possibly know that when she doesn't know about numerator and denominator yet? You see, she was thinking about numerator and denominator. She solved the problem this way, and she used 1 apple plus 1 apple as her analogy to understand 1/3 plus 1/3. So even a kindergartner can add subtraction. You better believe that every third garden can do it well. Just for fun, I asked her algebra question, what's 7x squared plus 2x squared? And then the 5-year correctly answered 9x squared. And she did it in exponent rules to figure that is all. So when the people say that we are illiterate or not, it's not true. Math is human language, so we have all the ability to understand this. We need to take a language approach to math urgently because too many kids are lost and they are understand about math, and it doesn't have to be the way. I work with an angry first at high school student on who could pass algebra because she only knew 44 of the multiplication text. I've told her that such a kind of while only knowing the 44 of the alphabet, holding me back. She could pass on public relations and she had no confidence in that. As the result, this teenager had confidence in herself. I've told her we have to start with the multiplication. Because want to know all of you have with your part. Everything gets easier and they will be having a fast part every ride in Disneyland. What do you think? And she said okay. But she ultimately learned that timetable in 4 weeks, and yes, even a multiplication has the language in better than that. So when kids see this way, they quickly realize and this repetition is slow and inconvenient, so they club the memories 7 times, all the with the 20th one. The first-year teenager was at risk to dropping out, becoming fluent and confident in multiplication with that game changer, because for the first time we can focus on the problem solving instead of counting of the finger. I'm usually at the corner when she figure out then to your currently 4,045 a manual code 10,680, and she's looking me despairingly. Lisa, that's expensive. At the moment, no having wonder causing problem with her. She looks giving a math solve problem at the reason to adult. As an educator in my duty to challenge kids to be better, truly you with this challenge. Our country took an 26% subtraction, and I challenge to you pass the number higher. This is important because mathematical thinking will build your mind. But our kids need to imagine and develop this future. Meeting this challenge can be as simple as apple plus apple. Insist that we just math the human language, and we will get this sooner rather than later. Thank you.